In the year 1238, a horrifying event unfolded under the oppressive skies of the Mongol Empire. Executioners, skilled in the art of torture and punishment, submerged a living woman into a chilling vat of oak bark extract mixed with lime. For an agonizing 23 days, she remained conscious, enduring the horrific transformation as her skin gradually morphed into leather. This gruesome fate befell none other than a decorated general and a granddaughter of Genghis Khan himself. Even as her body was chemically preserved in the most excruciating manner, she sang war songs, a haunting soundtrack to her slow demise. By the conclusion of this video, you will comprehend three profound truths that historians have desperately attempted to bury for over 700 years. First, we will explore the exact chemical process responsible for turning living human tissue into leather while the victim retained full cognitive awareness. Second, we will unveil the identity of this legendary female general, the circumstances leading to her grim punishment, and the shocking reason her own family ordered it. Lastly, we will delve into why the Mongols deemed this horrific punishment a form of mercy. If you're eager to uncover history's most brutal truths, those that textbooks dare not touch, hit that subscribe button right now. The revelations that follow are drawn from first-hand accounts chronicled in Persian texts, Mongolian secret histories, and declassified Soviet forensic reports that UNESCO sought to suppress until the year 2003. So, let us venture back to the year 1238. The forgotten warrior women of Mongolia. 2. Grasp the significance of this tragic tale. It's crucial to understand the fierce warrior women that history has all but forgotten. The Mongol Empire did not conquer 20% of the Earth's landmass by chance. By 1240, Mongol forces proudly ruled over vast territories, stretching from Korea to Hungary and from Siberia to Iraq, impacting the lives of over 100 million people. One astonishing detail that your history teachers often neglect to mention is that approximately 20% of Mongolian military officers were women. They were not relegated to support roles or nursing duties. These were formidable combat commanders. The daughters of Khans led cavalry charges into battle, besieged cities, and executed captured enemies with an iron fist. Genghis Khan's own daughters governed conquered territories, each the size of modern-day France. This was far from symbolic. These women were warriors trained from the tender age of 4 in the deadly art of horseback archery. The Persian historian Rashid al-Din chronicled that Mongolian women were not only fierce, but arguably more formidable than their male counterparts, as they fought without a trace of mercy. However, there was a chilling catch that rendered Mongolian society so ruthlessly efficient. Military defeat equated to dishonor of fate, considered worse than death itself. For male generals, the penalty for losing in battle was typically swift and merciful: a noose around the neck, a quick snap, and it was over. But for female commanders, especially those of noble lineage, the consequences were notably different. Their punishment had to be far more severe, etching a warning that would reverberate through generations. This punishment was aptly named in Mongolian Holik, meaning skin-changing. What follows is not a myth spun from Hollywood's imagination. It is a chilling tale that emerges directly from the Tarikh-i-Janesha, a Persian chronicle penned by Juvayni in 1260, a mere 22 years after these harrowing events. It also comes from the secret history of the Mongols, ancient texts that remained encoded and untranslated until the 1900s, as well as accounts documented by Armenian monks who bore witness to the aftermath and recounted their horror. The grisly chemistry of Holik. Allow me to walk you through this horrifying process step by step, because the chemistry involved is pure nightmare fuel. Human skin comprises 3 layers: the epidermis, dermis, and subcutaneous tissue. When it comes to making leather, the goal is to decompose the proteins in the dermis while preserving the collagen fibers intact. Today, modern tanners accomplish this through chromium salts and industrial chemicals. However, by 1200 AD, the Mongols had developed a method to achieve this with the victim still alive. Here's how they did it. Stage 1, the lime bath, 72 hours. The victim was stripped bare and submerged up to her neck in a solution of quicklime, the very same chemical used today for rapidly decomposing organic material combined with water. Quicklime, or calcium oxide, is notorious for being caustic. It burns organic tissues and dissolves fat. The concentration employed by the Mongols was potent enough to utterly destroy the outer epidermis in precisely 3 days. Yet here lies the horror and the dark genius of their method. The lime solution was always maintained at body temperature, a carefully calculated strategy. It was not so hot as to induce shock and immediate death. Rather, it was kept warm enough to allow the chemicals to work slowly and methodically, peeling away the outer skin layer while leaving the nerve endings exposed. The victim felt every single moment, every burning sensation, every inch of skin dissolving while cries of agony echoed across the camp. And yet, somehow, she continued to live? Asterisk Stage 2, tannin submersion, 18 to 21 days asterisk. Once the outer skin layer had been stripped away, the victim was transferred into a second vat, this one filled with extract from oak bark, rich in tannic acid and animal fats. This is the same method used in modern leather production, but there's a nightmarish twist. Tannic acid can penetrate living tissue. At body temperature, tannin molecules would bond with the collagen proteins in the dermis, cross-linking and essentially mummifying the tissue while blood flowed through it. The tanning process moved from the outside inward, beginning with the skin on her arms and legs, and then moving to the torso. Each day, the victim bore witness to her limbs changing from living flesh to the brown-gray hue of cured leather. Asterisk Stage 3, the preservation paradox asterisk. The Mongols were acutely aware that their victims would succumb to infection or organ failure well before the tanning process concluded. Thus, according to the encoded passages of the secret histories, the shamans overseeing this grotesque punishment took unimaginable measures. They kept the victim alive artificially, administering herbal stimulants to maintain a steady heartbeat, providing regular water to prevent dehydration, and force-feeding her a paste made from liver high in vitamin vitamin K. This vitamin is essential for blood clotting and helps prevent internal bleeding. They were purposefully extending her suffering. As Giovanni noted, most victims endured for between 19 and 26 days. The nerve endings would eventually begin to die as tannin permeated deeper, which meant that while the pain would gradually diminish, the awareness would stubbornly remain. Imagine the unending horror, being fully conscious, witnessing your own body transforming into leather, and feeling the sensation fade inch by inch while your mind remained imprisoned in that disintegrating flesh. Asterisk unveiling the performers of this grim ritual asterisk. But here comes the question that haunted me when I first encountered these accounts. Who could possess the knowledge, precision, and fortitude to carry out this harrowing ritual? Don't click away, because the answer reveals something even darker about Mongol society. The individuals who performed the skin-changing ritual were not soldiers, nor mere executioners. These were considered the most spiritually authoritative figures in Mongol culture, female shamans known as Udigan. They were believed to have direct communications with the eternal sky god, Tangri. The Udigan executed healing rituals, blessed warriors before battles, and guided souls from life into death. When it came to the horrific process of skin changing, the Udigan saw it not as a punishment, but as a transformation. As expressed in the secret history of the Mongols, a text whose full translation wasn't achieved until the 1960s, the ritual had a significant name, becoming the Eternal Guardian. Let me share a direct translation. When a daughter of the Khan fails in battle, she must not simply die and return to the earth. Her body must be preserved so that her spirit remains tethered to this world, forever guarding the army she failed. The Udigan will guide this transformation with sacred herbs and the tannin of the eternal oak. She will sing the songs of her victories as her flesh becomes armor. She will not be punished. She will be reborn as living protection. Let that truth resonate for a moment. This was not mere execution, it was a religious metamorphosis. The Mongols genuinely believed they were bestowing failed generals a chance at redemption by transforming their bodies into living armor and standards to be carried into battles yet to come. The Udigan who performed these rituals were rigorously trained from childhood. mastering the knowledge of herbal medicine, chemical compositions, and human anatomy well enough to keep vital organs functioning while the skin underwent chemical transformation. As chronicled by Armenian monks who witnessed the Mongol conquests, the sorceresses of the Mongol tribes possessed a deep understanding of bodily preservation that surpassed even modern physicians. They could extend life beyond its natural limits, trapping the soul within a rotting flesh casing. History recounts that they transformed living women into leather idols, mounted on poles, paraded before the armies that some of them still possessed with awareness in their eyes. For decades, historians dismissed these accounts as exaggerations or mere propaganda. Medieval chroniclers often embellished tales of enemy atrocities. But then in 1961, a group of Soviet archaeologists unearthed something shocking at the site of Karakorum, the ancient capital of the Mongol Empire. In a sealed ceremonial chamber, they discovered items that should never have seen the light of day. Asterisk archaeological discovery. Asterisk among these findings were shamanic tools, bronze needles, vats containing residue that tested positive for high concentrations of oak tannin, and stone tablets inscribed with ritual instructions mirroring the descriptions from Persian and Armenian chronicles. Almost exactly, the ritual was real. One detail, however, stood out more than others. The Udigan kept the victims conscious through herbal stimulants, ensuring the individuals could complete the transformation journey. Why? In Mongolian belief, if the victims lost consciousness or died before the tanning was completed, their spirits would escape, rendering the armor ineffective. The suffering endured by these individuals was not a side effect. It was essential. Asterisk, the legend of Alaki asterisk. Now you may be wondering, did this really happen? Are there names associated with these accounts? This is where the narrative takes a deeply personal turn. One name surfaces not once but in 3 distinct historical chronicles from various cultures. A woman whose lineage tied her directly to Genghis Khan, a decorated cavalry general who commanded 10,000 warriors, and someone whose failure was so profound that even her noble birth could not shield her from the consequences. Her name was Alaki, and her tragic story is one we can recount with clarity. In 1238, Mongol forces assaulted the Caucasus Mountains, targeting the kingdoms of Georgia and Armenia. Alaki, aged 31 and the granddaughter of Genghis Khan, led one flank of the invasion, commanding 10,000 cavalry. She had already secured victories across Central Asia, but near modern-day Tbilisi, she made a fatal tactical error. Alaki divided her forces within the unfamiliar terrain, facing a defender who knew every pass and valley. The Georgian prince, Ivan Mukammad's, had readied for the Mongol assault for months. Knowing he could not win in open confrontation, he lured the Mongols into a narrow valley, where they became a trapped force between landslides triggered from above and converging heavy cavalry from the rear. The battle raged for 6 hours, and by the end, Alaki's forces had lost 7,000 of their 10,000 warriors. Despite her own survival and strategic retreat, the orders for judgment awaited her return to Karakorum. Asterisk, the Council of Judgment, asterisk now, grasped the essence of Mongolian military culture. Losing a battle didn't always signify a death sentence. Commanders could be forgiven for tactical retreats that preserved their forces and learned from defeat. However, losing 70% of your army in a preventable ambush, especially when you bore the blood of the empire as founder, and were held to a higher standard, left only one course of redress. The Armenian chronicler who penned the history of the nation of archers recounted the events in troubling detail, stating that Alaki was brought in chains to the camp outside Tbilisi, her demeanor unshakable. She did not weep or beg for mercy. When the Kurultai Council of Mongols pronounced her sentence, she removed her armor with resolve and walked toward the preparation tent. For 19 consecutive days, her voice resonated across the valley, not marked by screams of despair, but by the war chants of her people. However, as the days progressed and the process of Holik continued, her voice softened, its vibrancy fading. On the 19th day, it fell silent. But even after her voice ceased, the witch women ensured that her body would remain preserved, completing the transformation at their hands. Asterisk, the legacy of Alaki, asterisk. Imagine the defiance displayed, choosing to sing instead of scream. It presents a remarkable strength of conviction, a belief that this metamorphosis was an honorable fate. For over 700 years, this account emerged as just another horrifically sensational story, mere propaganda in the annals of history. To many, it seemed too barbaric to be true. But in 1961, Soviet archaeologists working diligently at the site of ancient Karakorum unearthed a sealed ceremonial burial chamber, thought to conceal secrets of the past long since lost. Within, they discovered bronze restraints with chemical residue, 2 large ceramic vats containing oak tannin deposits, and stone tablets inscribed with ritualistic instructions in Mongolian script. However, they found something even more shocking: preserved human remains. Not mere bones or mummified tissue, but leather living skin that had undergone chemical tanning, mounted on wooden frames, meticulously stored to last through the centuries. Immediately classified by the Soviet government, the lead archaeologist's report was sealed. The academic community was informed that the chamber merely contained unimportant ceremonial artifacts. Yet this report was declassified in 2003. When modern forensic scientists eventually accessed those tissue samples, they unearthed revelations more horrifying than any medieval chronicle could capture. Reflect on the grim fate of Alaki and her fellow female warriors, let us remember the complex tapestry of their existence. Warriors forged in fire, facing unimaginable trials and enduring transformations that sought to secure their legacies in ways both horrifying and profound.